A city divided, thousands of passionate NRL fans gear up for the decider. St George Illawarra and the Sydney Roosters are each hoping to make history as they battle it out for the premiership. Also, the Prime Minister makes a surprise visit to troops in Afghanistan. Holiday tragedy with another 2 fatalities on New South Wales roads. And royalty arrives in New Delhi with the Commonwealth Games opening ceremony just hours away.
This is 9 News with Peter Overton.
Good afternoon, I'm Peter Overton, live from ANZ Stadium for Grand Final Day, the first all-Sydney clash in 6 years. The St George Illawarra Dragons and the Sydney Roosters are fighting for the NRL Premiership, and it's set to be a thriller. 82,000 fans are fast filling the stadium, with kick-off less than 60 minutes away. The wet weather isn't bothering them. There's a great buzz here and right across the city. We have comprehensive coverage with reporters here at the stadium and with the fans at the Dragons' home ground at Kogarah and the Eastern Suburbs Leagues Club. But first, to Ken Sutcliffe on the sideline. Ken, it's been a soggy Sydney day. Is that likely to have an effect on the game?
Oh, Peter, I don't think it'll have an effect on the game whatsoever. I think we're in for an absolute howler. Look, we've got a slight shower here now, a little bit of wind, but it's been like that most of the day. So, you know, they just put up with us, rugby league, and it's going to be a fabulous game. As you said, first time in 6 years we've had a full Sydney home grand final. And when you think of two teams with terrific stories to tell, they both arrived here at the ground about an hour ago. And of course the Roosters, you know, last year's wooden spooners, redemption this year, great stories there. Todd Carney's been well documented. Braithen Astor, he's going so well. Of course, Mitchell Pearce and so many other. And of course, the coach, Brian Smith, and what he's had to contend with over a number of years, chasing his first ever grand final. Then you've got, of course, the Dragons, this team that has been the benchmark all year. They've battled so very, very hard. They've set the benchmark, as we said. They are the favourites, but there's still a few question marks there. Will they get the monkey off their back here this afternoon? We will find out a little later on. In the meantime, Peter, back to you.
We'll talk to you a little bit later, Ken. Thank you. To Sarah Harris, who's outside the stadium. Sarah, what's the atmosphere like right now?
Oh, Pete, look, it's a little wet, but the atmosphere is pretty electric. Let's have a talk to the fans. How you feeling, guys? Now, supporters from both sides have been streaming into ANZ Stadium for the past couple of hours, and as you can see, they're pretty pumped.
It's finally on.
Roosters! Dragons! Roosters!
Outside ANZ Stadium, bitter enemies fired the final salvos before the real war begins. Official battle lines were drawn early this morning on a field where the hearts of hundreds of thousands of fans will either sink or soar.
Dragons, 120! Dragons! Go the Roosters! The Dragons are going to choke!
Rob Bruns wears his heart on his sleeve, his back, his chest and, well, just about all over.
Who's going to win the game? Go
If it looks like a chook and sounds like a chook, hang on, that's blasphemy.
Roosters! Roosters!
Well, what else could you expect when you're deep in enemy territory? Suppose finals fever makes people do fearless things. Maurice Mitry's been working up the courage to do this for 8 years, proposing to his other great love, Ella, their dog Minicello, watching on.
It's taken a bit of time, but you know, I thought I'd share the moment with all the Rooster fans out there.
On your mark!
The Abrahams' extended family is so devoted to the Saints, they've spent an unholy amount on tickets to the game, $13,500 for 85 seats.
This will be an epic battle between two Sydney teams, and it has reignited a long-standing rivalry between fans. We're with Dragons supporters at their home ground in Kogarah and with Roosters fans at Bondi. First, let's go to Ros Kelly in Kogarah. Ros, how are the fans feeling in the build-up?
Well, Pete, I think there's only one way to describe Dragons fans, and that is full of confidence. They don't care about history or statistics. It's all passion here at Kogarah. Now joining me here is young Evan Collins. He goes to every single home game. Evan, what's so good about the Dragons?
They're the best.
They're the best? And who's your favourite player?
Matt Cooper.
Now, Evan, you told me earlier your little secret as to how they can win.
When they pass the ball, before they pass it to the other person, they run and they get the ball and then they run and then they get a try.
Good on you, Evan. There you go, Pete. You heard it here first. How can they not win with that advice and this support?
Good on you, Ros. Thank you. To Jessica Rich now, who's with Roosters fans at the East Leagues Club. And Jess, are the fans nervous there?
Oh, Pete, the nerves are setting in here. The fans are under a lot of pressure. They're very confident. They're relishing every moment. As you can see, I can't get a word in. Back to you, Pete.
Jessica Rich and friends at the East Leagues Club, thank you. Well, to the rest of the day's news now, and the state's holiday road toll has reached 8 after a man in his 40s was killed in an early morning smash north of Dubbo. A 6-year-old boy critically injured in a crash in Sydney's southwest yesterday has also died overnight in hospital. On Friday night, 2 women and 2 young girls, all from the same family, died when their car collided with a semi-trailer in the Blue Mountains. The Prime Minister has made a surprise visit to Australian troops in Afghanistan during her first overseas trip in the top job. Julia Gillard made the brief stopover to thank our soldiers for their dedication before travelling on to Europe.
Flying in with the Royal Australian Air Force, Julia Gillard landed just in time for the AFL kick-off.
I know that the most important event of today is not my visit, it's the grand final. I understand that.
She was given a tour of the base before greeting troops over lunch, posing for photos and sharing a laugh.
Is that regulation army issue?
Then it was down to business with military briefings and a meeting with local security force commanders. The visit was to reinforce our commitment in Afghanistan, but also to answer recent calls for extra tanks and helicopters on the ground.
We're having a little bit of a silly debate at the moment about tanks, would you believe?
The Prime Minister then travelled to Kabul to meet with Afghanistan's President Hamid Karzai, where the two discussed Australia's military presence. Julia Gillard is now in the middle of her first overseas trip as Prime Minister, and in a few hours' time she'll arrive here in Brussels for the beginning of the Asia-Europe meeting, where she'll be joined by several leaders of Asian and European countries. Peter Stefanovic, 9 News, Brussels.
Indonesian police are preparing to interrogate a Sydney man arrested in Bali with close to 2 kilos of the drug ice. Michael Sakatidis maintains the drugs are not his. Jane Azzopardi is in Bali. Jane, you've discovered fresh details about the case.
That's right, Peter. The police investigator has revealed what else was in the suitcase that Michael Sakatidis brought with him for his 3-day holiday to Bali. He says the suitcase contained 5 T-shirts and 1 pair of shorts, and his backpack had just paper documents. He's also said that Mr Sakatidis has remained calm and has not asked any questions during his time in jail. It is going to get tougher tomorrow, though, because the full police interrogation will begin, and he's also expecting a visit from some family members at some point over the next few days, Pete.
Jane Azzopardi from Denpasar, Bali, thank you. In the news ahead, we'll have the latest from New Delhi with the Commonwealth Games opening ceremony just hours away. And plenty more from ANZ Stadium with the build-up to the NRL decider.
He can run.
Dr. Peters?
But he can't hide. The Dirty Doctor at the centre of the hepatitis scandal.
What have you got to say, Dr. Peters?
Which has left dozens of women infected.
Do you have any remorse at all?
A 9 News investigation. Monday at 6.
Security is incredibly tight in New Delhi with the opening ceremony of the Commonwealth Games just hours away. Thousands of athletes and spectators have now arrived in the Indian capital, including some royalty.
For a city which already resembles a military zone, security is now being cranked up to a new and unprecedented level. As part of the lockdown, markets and shops have been closed for the day and the airspace over the capital has been restricted. In and around the stadium, there'll be nearly 2 soldiers for every one of the 6,500 athletes marching. Many of our swimmers and gymnasts will sit out the ceremony as their competition starts tomorrow.
It's a highlight for many athletes to march in an opening ceremony, but at the end of the day they want to make sure it doesn't impact on their performance.
The 3-hour ceremony will be capped off with a fireworks display masterminded by an Australian outfit.
There's 2 40-foot shipping containers. There's 8,500 pyrotechnic effects being fired off.
So a big bang.
Yeah, it's a big bang and it should be a great finale to the show.
As a precaution, Andrew Howard has had to warn security chiefs the show could make the troops on the ground a little jumpy.
Not going to be trigger happy, hopefully.
Well, I hope not. I certainly hope
There's
not.
a lot of them.
Prince Charles has flown in with Camilla Parker Bowles to open the games on behalf of his mother. 100,000 visitors were expected to attend the games, but the fear factor has driven 90% of them away, and hotel owners are counting the costs.
Even if you go to the 5-star hotel, all the rooms are vacant. There's hardly any occupancy, you know.
And if these games sometimes seem cursed, there's one more curse to come. The dreaded Vuvuzela has made its way to India from the South African World Cup. Damien Ryan, 9 News, New Delhi.
Well, Damien, what can we expect in the opening ceremony tonight?
Well, Pete, we've just learned that only 251 of the 546 athletes and officials will actually march into the opening ceremony, and Australia will, of course, be the lead nation. Out of 71 nations, they'll be the first into the stadium. The 3-hour ceremony promises to showcase India's rich history and culture. There'll be 8,000 performers, a yoga display, and, of course, Pete, lashings of Bollywood. So it's going to be fun.
Indeed it will. Damien, thank you. Let's go back to Ken now on the sideline. And Ken, we're all looking forward to the grand final, but there is some other sport around.
Funny about that, Peter, that's right. And the party goes on in Melbourne for the Magpie Army. After Collingwood's win in the AFL Grand Final yesterday, they've waited 20 years for this, and the celebrations were still in full swing today. Last night, Lionel Richie kept the fans entertained until the players arrived back at their post-match function, which went on into the early hours of the morning. And the title hope of Aussie IndyCar driver Will Power vanished in the final round in Miami. Power led the championship by 11 points before the race, but a brush with the wall left the car with damage that couldn't be repaired. He failed to finish the race, handing the title to Dario Franchitti. Now back here at ANZ Stadium, and what about the day is all about the NRL Grand Final. Now we've already seen 2 premiership deciders this afternoon. The Bulldogs beat the Wolves in the New South Wales Cup, and the Warriors overran the Rabbitohs in the Toyota Cup decider.
The Rabbitohs made a nervous start, and a number 1 mistake cost them dearly. Malcolm Webster didn't, but the Warriors' Sean Johnson did. Then South grabbed the momentum back through Junior Vaiva.
That's where they're deadly.
But the Warriors weren't to be denied, and no wonder the celebrations were sweet. This was their first title since entering the comp in 1995.
The enthusiasm, the ecstasy for the young blokes from the New Zealand Warriors.
In the New South Wales Cup Grand Final, the minor premiers, the Bulldogs, were immediately on their game against the Wolves.
Reece Jack into open pasture.
And less than 2 minutes in, Trent Cutler had the opening try.
The Bulldogs are over.
While the Bulldogs' first graders had a year to forget, their second cousins did the family club proud, a knockout win in the decider, where they led from start to finish.
The Bulldogs, this could be the crowning moment for them.
Clinton Fletcher, 9 News.
And joining me right now, Billy Slater, one of the best to play the game, Australian fullback with the Storm also. Billy, who do you pick tonight?
I'm going to stick with the Dragons. I think they've been clinical all year. They've got the defence to win this comp, and if this weather keeps up, it's going to be a wet game. So I'm going to stick with the Dragons, but they don't have to be too far off their game for the Roosters to have a shot.
But Jamie Soward needs to have a good one. He's pivotal for him, isn't he?
He is. He's got a great kicking game, and he's so dangerous when that ball hits the ground. He can pick it up and run 90. So yeah, he's going to be dangerous for the Roosters.
But the Roosters have got the form halves too. That's another plus for them, obviously.
They certainly do. They've got plenty of spark. Sean Kenny-Dow, Sam Perrott out wide. They can score tries, and you've got Carney and Pearce in the middle, and they can certainly set them up. So it's going to be a cracking game here.
You wish you were out there. You're going for the Dragons, though.
Yeah, I certainly wish I was out there, but no, I'm certainly happy to be on the sideline at the moment, and should watch this one. I'm going to go for the Dragons.
Good on you, Billy. Thanks very much for joining us. We'll be back here live right after the news, of course, with the NRL Grand Final. Back to you, Peter.
Good on you, Ken. Thank you. Well, Janie Seal is out and about around the Olympic precinct here, and she has all the weather details for us. Janie.
Hello, Peter. Well, thousands of fans here today. They don't care if they get wet. We've had continuous showers all day. We hit a top of 20 degrees in the city and 19 here at the ANZ Stadium. Most of Sydney picked up about 15 to 30 millimetres of rain in the last 24 hours. And for the Capitals, more showers along the east coast tomorrow and showers for Melbourne and Hobart. Sydney, 19 degrees tomorrow for the city and west, partly cloudy with scattered showers, similar to today. Tuesday, a bit more blue sky, so a warmer 24 degrees in the city, 25 on Wednesday. That's ahead of a cooler change on Thursday. For our western suburbs, much the same, but a fraction warmer during the day, drying out during the end of the week, fine on Friday and Saturday. Guys, whoever wins, what a great game of footy tonight, hey? Yeah!
Janie, thank you. That is the news from us all here at 9 News. Good night.